What is up, YouTube? This is Bumblebee and Rod I Trust, and yeah, this is going to be another Wi-Fi battle. This one is also versus Shaymin22. Reason I'm doing this is because the Elite Fours, except for Shaymin, basically are bitches on this site as of right now, and they won't answer, and there's one spot open and the other two won't answer. Hopefully the next spot will be filled by somebody who actually, knows how to answer somebody back. But this was just a normal battle. As you can see, I have new teams: Steelix, Kingdra, Heatran, Raikou, Gastrodon, Crobat, while he has Smeargle, Jirachi, Heatran, Heracross, Starmie, and Metagross. Main pokes on his team that I was really worried about were Jirachi and Metagross, just for the plain reasons that they're beasts, but the battle is starting. But I wasn't worried about Smeargle because my Steelix does have the Dragon Tail and it is somewhat of a phaser. So he's going to lead off with the obvious Smeargle, and I'm going to lead out with my obvious Steelix. Now right here, I was kind of thinking, okay, he's probably going to go for the Spore so I can switch out into Kingdra, and I have Chesto Berry. It will be wasting my Chesto Berry, but if he's not carrying Focus Sash, which I was hoping he wasn't, but he probably was, I will be able to kill it off with a Waterfall. Now, as you can see right here, my Chesto Berry will wake me up, and this is all, plans all going accordingly right here. But he is actually faster than me, and I should have known that. I didn't realize it until after, because I realized that I am a fucking bulky Kingdra, not a full sweeper. So I decided to just say fuck it, and I'm going to switch out right here and go back into my Steelix, because I'm not really liking that matchup, because I don't know what this thing's going to do, and I know I can still easily phase it out right now, or phase out whatever comes in after it. After it sets up its boost and does its baton pass. But he goes for the spikes, and that tells me that this is probably going to set up spikes and toxic spikes. So I just take my chances right here and go up for my own little stealth rock. And he's going to go for his third layer of spikes, and that is not good, because now I'm going to be taking, I have no Rapid Spinner, and I'm going to be taking spike damage, like a lot of spike damage. Only thing on my team that won't take that damage is Crobat. So I decided to go for the Dragon Tail just to get that fucking thing out of there before he can set up any toxic spikes or anything like that he may have. And he goes into the Heatran, and I'm not really afraid of it because I do have the Sturdy and I will live no matter what. So he goes for the Eruption, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know why you would stay in on the Steelix because, Sturdy and whatnot. I'm at full health, and I'm just gonna live that with 1 HP because of Sturdy, and that is fucking awesome. And I'm gonna go for the Earthquake, and the Earthquake is going to kill this thing with no problem, just because it's quad weak stab, and I doubt he has any defense / HP into this thing since I saw the Eruption. So now he is going to go into his Metagross, if I'm correct. And Metagross was one of the Pokemon I was fearing, just because I can't really wall it that well, because it's got a good attack, and I don't know if I would outspeed it or not with Heatran to be able to kill it off with a Lava Plume or get the burn. And I don't think Gastrodon would be able to take too many Earthquake / Meteor matches from it. But he goes for the Stealth Rock and gets those up. And I'm like, fuck, now he's got Stealth Rock going around, and he's got the fucking spikes up, and that's not gonna do anything on my team well. And I tried to go for the Dragon Tail, but it missed, and he just goes for the Earthquake and finishes me off. So Steelix kinda did its job in a way. He got up the rocks, and he was gonna make sure that Smeargle didn't pass any boosts on to anything else. And that was really awesome. So even though he did get his rocks and all of his spikes up, I can't really complain because Steelix had a goal, and the goal was kind of accomplished. So I go into Heatran, just wanting to see what this thing's going to do, and it goes for the Earthquake. Now I don't know if I'm going to outspeed it or not, so I don't think I even attempt, or do I? Actually, I think I do attempt, and I go for the Lava Plume, and I think he predicts me going for the Lava Plume, or predicting me to outspeed. I don't know what his set was, but it had to be something to know that my Heatran, it had to be a set knowing that my Heatran would outspeed Metagross, and he basically sends in Smeargle as death fodder. And I'm really scared of that Metagross because I know I can touch it now because he wouldn't switch out if he is faster, obviously. He goes into Starmie, and I was contemplating overstaying in because this guy's pretty good, and I was contemplating on staying in because after that first Hydro Pump, he knew I had Gastrodon, and he knew that I would switch into it most likely. And I was afraid that he might predict me staying in and going for the Hydro Pump, so I just made the safe choice and went into Gastrodon. And my luck, he does go for the Hydro Pump. Come on, all this residual damage well, all this entry hazard damage shit. So he goes for the Hydro Pump, and I get the Storm Drain boost. And now he knows that I have Ice Beam and Earth Power, and he knows that I won't use Ice Beam because, you know, Ice Beam's like not going to do shit to Starmie, and so he predicts the Earth Power, but I actually predict him to predict that and to go into the Metagross, so I just go for the Ice Beam just to fucking get rid of that balloon, because that balloon, getting rid of that is going to be a main part of this strategy. So he was basically like fuck at that moment because, yeah, he got kind of out-predicted there and it cost him his balloon. So now I know that I can easily get an Earth Power off on this thing, and he goes for the Earthquake. And the damage that this Earthquake does tells me that he's got probably physical EVs. And I really don't like this thing, so I'm going to Earth Power it. And I don't remember if I kill or not. I'm pretty sure I don't. Or I do, sweet, and it may be crit. Nope, it wasn't, so okay, sweet. So, yeah, that thing is now dead, and it is no longer a problem, and I really don't care about it all that much. And now he goes into 5-star, and I know that he will probably go for the Hydro Pump or something, expecting me to go into my Heat Ram, but he actually doesn't. He goes for Blizzard, and that was actually a really big surprise for me. And he actually, with the Blizzard, he gets a crit. And at the time, we didn't think the crit mattered, but I honestly think it would, because the next match we did with the same teams, the Blizzard didn't do that much when he hit Gastrodon with it. So now I go into Crobat, and I want to go for the Brave Bird, but I'm afraid of the Jirachi I saw coming in. So I decided that I'm just going to make the safe choice and go for U-turn, because Choice Banded Crobat, U-turn will hit anything coming in fairly hard. But he decides to go into the Crobat, and I'm really not liking that, because if this thing's Choice Scarfed, it will easily outspeed Crobat and be able to kill. So I decided that I'm going to go into my Kingdra just so, because he is bulky, I know that he can live like at least one close combat or Stone Edge or Earthquake, anything he wants to throw at me, really. And then he gets burnt by his Flame Orb, and that shows me, well, he's not Scarfed, so I'm no longer afraid to go into Crobat and take this thing out. So he goes for some move. I think it was maybe Rock Slide or Stone Edge, but I miss it. Well, he misses it, and I'm sleeping again. He goes for Earthquake, and I know that I can live at least one Earthquake, because the bulkiness of Kingdra is just that awesome. And I wake up this turn, and I go for the Dragon Dance, and he knows that I am going to outspeed and be able to kill from this health. Well, from his amount of health at the moment, and the burn that's about to take place, he knows that I will kill, and he doesn't really want his Heracross dying right now, so he decides to go into Starmie while I go for a Waterfall. And this is where Hack starts to take place. The Waterfall is going to kill off the Starmie right here, basically just because of crit. We really don't know if the crit mattered. I haven't done a damage calc yet, but I'm taking it maybe just because of Stab, +1 boost, and Starmie not having the best defense in the world. It would kill, but I'm honestly not sure, and this is where Hacks really comes into play. He brings out Jirachi, and I know I'm going to outspeed clearly, and I go for Waterfall because Outrage won't do shit. And Waterfall is going to do a big chunk to this thing, and I'm like, that's awesome. And it flinches, and I'm like, alright, well, I need a crit or another flinch to kill, and wouldn't you know, I go for Waterfall, and I get... I flinch him again, and now Jirachi is gonna die about the same way it kills everything else, by flinching it to death. And that was actually pretty awesome. It was bullshit because that was a lot of hacks. I still think I may have won the battle even if not for the hacks, but it was still pretty fucking awesome just because, you know, You don't see Jirachi getting flinched to death much, and it was actually nice to see for once, even though it did play a big part in the game. And I'm going to easily outspeed the Heracross after it takes the Stealth Rocks damage, and I will be able to kill that thing off. And yeah, that is pretty much a good game to Shaymin. I mean, it was a real good battle. Elite Four may be up tomorrow, maybe up next week. I really don't know, because these gym leaders are really bullshit, and they won't. Well, these Elite Fours are really bullshit and won't get online right. But yeah, that is pretty much all from me, people. Peace, really.